Hi there! Today we're kicking off a series of videos on polite English. These are some simple ways you can sound more polite, cultivated, and educated when speaking English. I'm sure that's something you'd like to be able to do, right? So, let's dive into one very simple way you can achieve this. We're going to talk about replacing the word want with would like. It's a small change that can make a big difference in how you come across. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Imagine a child saying, "I want some ice cream." When you say "I want," it sounds like a demand. It's a bit abrupt, isn't it? Children often speak this way, and sometimes adults do too when they're angry. But generally, if you want to sound more polite, you'll want to use a different expression. Instead of saying, "I want some coffee," which sounds a bit too direct and blunt, you'd be better off saying, "I would like some coffee," or "I would like to leave now." Do you see the difference in tone? It's much softer and more considerate. Now, you might hear people say, "I want to go home," which is the abbreviated version of want to. Sometimes want to. When people say it really fast becomes wanna, you could use that in casual situations. I'm not saying never to use it, but it's important to decide which context is proper and appropriate for the casual, informal version. With your friends, for example, wanna might be perfectly fine, but in a business situation or a formal setting, you should use more proper English. You should be able to do both to sound natural and appropriate in different situations. Okay, so that's our first example of how to sound more polite in English. It's a simple change, but it can make a big difference in how you're perceived. Now, let's look at another way to sound more polite. Instead of saying, "Give me that book," which sounds like an order, "You cooled, Sai. Could you please pass me that book?" Or, "Would you mind handing me that book?" These phrases are much more polite and respectful. Remember, politeness isn't just about the words you use, but also about your tone of voice. Even if you use polite words, if your tone is harsh or impatient, it can still come across as rude. So, try to speak in a gentle, friendly tone when you're aiming for politeness. Another tip is to use please and thank you liberally. These little words go a long way in making your speech sound more polite. For example, instead of "I need a pen," say, "May I have a pen, please?" And always remember to say thank you when someone does something for you, even if it's small. Let's talk about making requests. Instead of saying "you should do this," which can sound bossy, try saying, "Would you mind doing this?" or "Could you possibly do this?" These phrases show that you're asking for a favor rather than giving an order. When disagreeing with someone, instead of saying "you're wrong," which can sound confrontational, try saying, "I see your point, but I think," or "I understand what you're saying." However, this shows that you respect their opinion, even if you don't agree with it. Now, let's practice these polite phrases. Repeat after me. "I would like some water, please. Could you please help me with this? Would you mind opening the window? Thank you so much for your help." Remember, being polite in English isn't just about following rules. It's about showing respect and consideration for others. By using these polite phrases, you're not only improving your English, but you're also making positive impressions on the people you interact with. So, that's it for today's lesson on polite English. In our next video, we'll look at more ways to sound polite and professional in English. Until then, practice using would like instead of want, and see how it changes the way people respond to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.